Did Danielle fall asleep?
No.
It looks like you were
Here.
asleep.
I'm trying to turn my screen time out on my phone to a longer period so that I can have the notes up without having to constantly touch my phone.
Oh, okay. I just print them old
Nice.
school. Thanks,
On my
Bill.
new phone, nonetheless.
Plus, I can write stuff on them. Anyway, let's get this shit started. Hey, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Why are you laughing, Belle? I'm going to start over now. Hey,
I'm sorry.
good morning, good evening, good afternoon, or any time in between, whenever you're listening. We welcome you. We're glad you're here. This is the Damaged Goods Podcast / the Sarcastically Sincere Podcast. It's all four of us bitches today.
Hey.
It's all four of us today, bitches. Yeah, I said that wrong.
Wow, I don't even. That's your audience you're talking to.
So it's like hybrid episode 87 / 30, whatever you're 35?
34 and a half.
34 and a half? Okay. 87 / 34 and a half. I am Ramon.
I'm Danielle.
This is
I'm
Belle.
I'm Matt. Again.
And you're tuned in. We've been saying we were going to do like an all four hybrid episode for a while, and Belle finally made the push, and we're doing it. And we've got a fairly interesting topic that I think blends well with the subject matter of both podcasts. So I'm super excited for it today. If I could play music through this, I was going to play the Tyrese song. Every time I try and leave, something keeps pulling me back. And I'll explain. So last week, Belle outed me in public and saying like, oh, see, you were talking about resigning, and look, you got a message from these people that love the podcast. Well, it happened again. My friend Lloyd, not exactly, I paraphrased, and he was like, oh, man. He's like, that shit is great. And it's, again, another, I'm starting to think that SoundCloud stats are fucked up.
Off.
Maybe. It's just all these, especially when I know where these people live and they live in a remote area and I never see their town in the stats. So anyway, I'm gonna stop looking at them. So shout out to my homie Lloyd. We've been rocking for a long time. It's good to hear from him, and good to hear that he's a listener. So hope he continues to listen. Let's see what we got going on here. Danielle's an easy one. What national day is it today?
Today's Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day, Danny.
Thank
Happy
you.
Mother's Day,
It's
Danielle.
my first one.
Is it your first
I'm
official
really-
one?
Yeah, I
Nice.
mean, with like a human, I guess. We celebrate Mother's Day with pets in our household.
I was about to say, isn't your mother a human?
Yeah, but like my first official one for myself.
Right, 'cause
Eric
You
got
celebrated
me,
to you. Yeah, I got it.
yeah.
Yeah,
Eric
'cause
got
Paige would have been in the
me
womb
a pair
last
of
year.
diamond earrings for Mother's Day, so that's
Oh,
quite the surprise.
Wait, what happened?
shit.
I was adjusting
Eric
my
bought
headphones.
me a pair of diamond earrings for Mother's Day,
That-
so that was
That
a very
goddamn
nice.
unicorns.
Yeah.
Damn. Eric, I have
What
to
a
call Eric
goddamn
later because he
unicorn.
knows that you're only expecting the gifts to be elevated.
Yeah.
Or for everyone that's listening to this now, you're like, oh, I mean,
Look, man, I didn't even get a birthday present.
all the mothers out there be like, well, you know, Danny got diamond earrings, but I guess his card's okay. Like,
Yeah, and then he made me
Yes,
breakfast.
this shitty
'Cause
breakfast
he
is
worked.
good.
He worked today, so I'm spending Mother's Day with just Paige. But he did make me breakfast before he left for work, so that was nice.
Now that's some shit. He made you
Yeah.
breakfast before he went to work. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's funny. I don't know if I told this story before, but one of my friends, Brian, and his wife Elisa, they're listeners to the show. But Brian's dad was an awesome dude, and he had once said, I said, Mr. Brienza, what do you get in Mrs. Brienza for Mother's Day? And he goes, she's not my mother.
Oh my gosh!
So years later, I adopted that after, you know how when your kids, well, nobody knows yet. So when your kids get a certain age, you take them shopping to buy them something for their mom. And Matt, you may have
Right.
done it with Aiden already. And we bought remember those watches that were interchangeable? Like you had the watch face and then you could interchange the face into different bands.
Yes.
Okay. So they had picked out that for their mom. And when she opened it, she talked so much shit about it. Now, was it cheap? It might have been. I don't recall. But she talked so much shit about it that I vowed that I was never buying her another Mother's Day gift ever
Oh no.
again because my feelings were so hurt. And it's even funny. Years later, my ex number 3 had bought a gift for her for Christmas, I think it was, and she put both of our names on the little tag, and I scratched my name off the tag because I vowed that I was not purchasing you another gift again because you reacted so poorly to that one.
Patty.
And it's kind of like a running joke with us now, but yeah, my feelings are quite hurt that day. So
Damn.
So yeah, somebody's feelings were really hurt.
This Mother's Day is going to probably be a little bit different, though, because with the coronavirus and still having a social distance, which was extended in Delaware until the end of May now, you can't spend the time with your loved ones. Now you're going to have to Zoom Mother's Day.
Yeah, but I think it's still appropriate to hug your mother if you get the opportunity.
I still see my mom occasionally, so, I'll still do that.
Sorry.
At least the phone call.
The nerd in me, like when I look at Matt's frame, like you know how when you watch TV and the character just pops off the background? Matt always, it's like Matt secretly is a lighting expert because I was watching the video the last time you were on and I'm like, he just pops off the background. Like it's that natural light.
You don't need to give him a bigger ego, man. Like he's already got this.
You're right though. I do this on purpose. Where I sit, and this is why I don't sit in my studio so that the sounds better or I get the best reception. I do it because of the lighting. It's fantastic.
Vanity. Let's see. How's everybody's weeks been?
I've had a good week. Same old here. I'm in the middle of still watching The Walking Dead. I'm on season 7.
La 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 la. You passed me a long time ago.
Oh.
I literally had to turn down the last episode when you started, and I would turn it back up real quick to see if y'all were still talking about it, and I turned it back down. I was like, no, just let it wait.
Well, I won't go into detail, but it's very good.
I can imagine season 7 already. I mean, that's impressive after.
It's so good.
I don't know. I didn't hold my attention. I tried. I didn't try from the beginning, but I tried. When Susan and I first started dating, she was watching it, and it was boring to me.
Really?
That and Lost, she tried to get me into, and I didn't like either of them.
I like Lost. I had to turn off The Walking Dead because Paige has recently started paying attention to what's on the television. So when I don't want her watching that at 10 months old, so I don't watch it around her anymore.
It's interesting. I was telling Susan how I don't feel, even though I haven't seen you guys, I don't feel like I haven't seen Paige because I get to see Paige 12 times a day. And here's how. Because if I'm perusing my Facebook timeline, you've posted it, and then quite possibly Shannon and your dad and your mom post it. So then I see it there, and then I see it again on Instagram. So I'm like, yeah. I keep seeing Paige. Paige has mastered the social media algorithm.
She's perfect.
You might be getting calls from talent agents.
Yeah, right. Let's see. For me, that was last week. This week we started watching Dead to Me again because season 2 came out. It's the show with Christina Applegate and Linda Cardinelli. It's pretty interesting. They meet each other in a woman's grief group because a woman lost her husband. Turns out the other woman hit her husband with the car that killed him, and they find out through the series. Yeah, it's pretty interesting, and it's funny because I think Christina Applegate has a great, funny comedic personality, but she's kind of mean a little bit. But it's interesting. They're only 30-minute episodes, and I think that the first season was 10 episodes. Last night we watched 4 in 2 hours, so that's been pretty good. And in other sad news this week, I just found out before we got on the podcast, we lost Andre Harrell, which probably none of you know who he is, but he's a record executive. He started Uptown Records. back in the 80s, late 80s, early 90s. But who you will know that he was responsible for Jodeci, Father MC, Heavy D, Mary J. Blige, and his assistant was Puffy.
Huh.
Who,
Go figure.
Yeah, he made Puffy, and he fired Puffy from his A&R job at Uptown, and that's when Puffy started Bad Boy. But he was only 59 years old, so young guy. I just want to send out blessings to his family.
Is that what he's going by now, Puffy, or is he back to Diddy?
I don't know, but I was raised as calling him Puffy, so I still call him Puffy.
Okay.
Or I think he was going as Love one time. He had put on his Instagram. I think Brother Love or something like that. Anyway, what about you guys? Sarcastically Sincere, how's your week been?
Matt, you go first.
Well, still doing the daddy duty thing. Aiden helped me out with yard work, and y'all would have found that super cute because in between running around the yard, he would kind of help me pick up stuff. But yeah, plenty of cartoons this week. And then, after the kiddo hits a sack, turn on a little Netflix or something like that. Read some emails and so forth. But just trying to keep in touch with the fam. Been touching base since yesterday that Aiden went back with his mom. So I reached out to some family and I just want to say what's up. And I'm going to be making some phone calls today as well for Mother's Day. That's definitely on the docket because not only are my sisters, my grandmother, I still got a lot of people, I want to reach out to, say what's up to my sister-in-law, things like that. Just hide all the mothers. Happy Mother's Day to you, by the way, Danielle.
Thank you.
I'm happy that you get to celebrate your first. It's unfortunate it's under certain circumstances, but diamond earrings are always a plus.
That they are.
Matt, do you call your family or are you like videoing them? Like
calling. Yeah, like my grandmother has like one of the old wired phones. Like she doesn't have a cell phone. So, yeah, but I my sisters don't have any social media, so like Facebook or Instagram or any of those platforms you can actually video call really easily on.
Okay.
So I just give them a good old ring and say what's up. What's up? That's how I say it too. What's up, Grandma?
Now, do you put the straw in your mouth for the effect, or when you're talking to your folks back home?
Do you throw a little Texas in there? Do you
a little twang?
Do you put a little draw
Grandma.
in your?
Good keep kicking.
It's so funny making jokes about Matt being from Texas because he's not from rural Texas. He's from urban Texas.
I have ever liked it sounded though. Like,
can I borrow your guitar? Because I've been wanting to learn to play guitar.
Yeah. Did you make yourself a cup? Are you plugging yourself right now, man?
No. I will plug Peanuts Personals. Peanuts Personals is owned and operated by Susan's bestie, Ashley Murphy. I had to think of her married last name.
I know. I could only think of her maiden name.
And she makes these cool cups, so.
That's cool.
I'm not plugging myself because I haven't launched everything yet, so.
Gotcha. Because you kept going like this.
I'm just drinking the coffee. I'm trying to work around pause the mic.
I don't know. It just seemed like very, well-placed advertisement there.
No. Maybe
There's nothing going on with Belle.
No?
No. I just got off because we're doing 4 days on and 4 days off, so I just got off my 4 days, and it was torture. I have to wear a mask 8 hours a day because we are inside of a building with people within our 6-foot range, so my ears hurt. That's about all I got.
Well, your skin looks phenomenal. I have to wear a mask, and my skin is breaking out. I noticed that your skin is not when you first got on the call, and I'm super jealous. Really? Yeah.
Oh, don't be jelly. Don't light it.
Your bank, I forget what day it was. I walked across the street to Wawa, and you were working. And the line, the drive-through line was wrapped around the building.
Yep.
Does
Because
Wispas not
people
have a
need-
drive-through app? Does Wispas not have an online
They
app?
do.
Okay.
They do.
Just checking.
But people needed to come deposit their $2. That was so essential for them to do. And then they get really, really mad when it takes them so long.
The
You know, it's
ATM
cool,
takes
whatever.
cash. Just saying.
Yep.
Okay.
People are very set in their ways. Anyway, that was my life.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, man.
We're moving on. We're rocking. You see, Belle, I'm letting you drive, man.
Oh, fuck. You didn't tell me.
I never do.
All right, guys. You never do. Man, I'm just thrown into the driver's seat.
I
So,
mean,
guys.
You authored it. Belle has
I
been
did.
proudly producing our episodes lately, giving me back hours at a week. It's much appreciated.
It's fun. I hope so. I just hope, like, they're not super lame or whatever.
No. And
No, you do such a good job. I told Ramon, I'll tell you, I'm super, super thankful that you do this.
Yay. Well, I would
can't
continue.
wait. Like,
Did you actually read it, Matt?
oh yeah. And
The outline? So
I
proud.
was slapping knees like the whole time. Every question I was slapping my knee. I got a good one for that. Like, I
Oh,
can't
no.
wait. I'm excited, but I don't want to hype up the punchlines. You know.
yeah.
Right, yeah, don't go too crazy. So how are we going to do this? Are we going to talk about boys first, then girls, or what?
Ladies
that what we
first, I always
decided?
think. Oh, and folks, next week, we anticipate this is going to be quite a lengthy episode. So we could either put out the really long episode and you take your own 2 weeks, or we could keep you in suspense and cut it off in the middle and then just start it back. And then you have to wait a whole week to wonder how the rest of the conversation ended.
Oh, man.
We'll decide as we go along.
Yeah. Okay, so I thought it would be fun, because there's 4 of us, and 2 girls, 2 boys, to talk about what if
I'm a
you
man.
swap genders. Okay,
I'm a
fine.
man.
Your panties are already in a bunch. I can see how this is going to go. So, Matt and Ramon, you suddenly have boobs and a vagina. And me and Danielle just grew a dick.
Yes.
Yay!
Between both of y'all.
Oh, wow. Okay. No, I grew one and Danielle grew one. We have separate penises.
You know, balls come with those typically.
Oh, shit. I have balls, too. All of a sudden.
Oh shit! I got a perfect one for the next question. All right.
All
Sorry.
right.
Go ahead.
All right. So should we talk about us with the new penises, or should you guys with the vaginas? Do you want to talk about that? Like, how does that
Yeah,
feel?
because technically it's women first. And
Yeah.
you guys are
Yeah,
not
ladies
women.
first. All
Why
right.
not?
So, first question: how you guys feeling? You guys feel? Are you feeling yourself? You feeling good?
Yeah.
I am feeling just fine. Yeah, I feel great. Why?
Well, boom! You just got your fucking period. Now you can. I've been waiting to say that like for days. So,
Reason number 3,452 why she wouldn't have kids. She'd be the mom for her daughter. Is like, boom! You just got your period.
boom! Go fuck yourself. Okay, so for the new ladies, I'll say, Danielle, would you like to talk about a survival kit first?
Like what
I
for?
can't see your face, Danielle. Where'd your face go?
It's here.
She's still there.
Okay, maybe I just can't see you. Anyway, so I was thinking it would be nice of us to like give the new ladies a survival kit for having a new vagina, or just being ladies in general. What do you think would be in a survival kit? I'll give you 2 items, and then Danielle, if you want to jump in. I think okay. So first item, Google. I mean, it's easily accessible. You guys are lucky, because when I was growing up, I didn't have Google. So all the mysterious things that happen, you got to ask somebody.
That's why you sat on the toilet sideways?
Because I didn't know any better. Anyway, so also I would say some form of, let's say, either pad or tampon, because you just never know when that thing's going to go off. All right?
You sure don't.
You sure
Ticking
don't.
time bomb.
It's a mystery. All right, Danielle, what do you think?
So I would put in my survival kit like ibuprofen, because period cramps are a bitch.
They suck.
They suck.
I must be a whore, because I was thinking I'm going to keep condoms in my purse in case the guy I want to fuck isn't prepared.
Well, that's a good idea. I was going to say birth control, because you can never really trust a man.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I was going to say birth control next. My survival kit has medicine in it.
Okay.
You don't want any unexpected children, because unlike a man, a woman has to grow the child.
Right.
So although
now.
men also have a huge responsibility for 9 months, it's not nearly as big of a responsibility as the woman who has to grow a person and then push a person out of their vagina.
Right.
Okay,
so
we're talking about survival kit, right?
Real quick sidebar. We should make GIFs of Matt's expressions during this conversation, because just a couple of times I look down in the bottom corner and I'm like, man, that would be a great GIF. I need to screenshot that.
Okay, so did we do well enough? Do you think they'd survive for a couple days as a woman?
I don't, but I think we've given them what we can for now.
So we wake up as a woman, and we are armed with Google, some type of sanitary napkin or tampon, ibuprofen, birth control, and condoms.
Right.
Ramon threw his own survival tactic in there.
I guess so. Okay.
So yeah.
I'm ready. You ready, Matthew?
Let's get it started.
I wanted to make sure that, because I read in the notes that this is a safe place. Okay? I just want to make sure that that's still confirmed. This is a safe place. I can say what comes to mind without any retribution.
And if not,
yes. So we will say, first of all, let's just say this is a safe space. Well, we will try to keep it light and not take too much personally in reference to our normal gender.
Right. So the reason I wrote that is very specific, because I was trying to have a conversation with my dear husband about it, and we went to a very dark place. And I didn't want that to happen with us. Yeah, I'll share with you later what he said about if I swap genders. It was not.
I think that could be the third part of the episode.
I for days. Okay, so I don't want to talk about that. Anyway, so this is a safe place. Let's keep it light. Okay.
I don't want to come across as misogynistic. Okay, like that's what I wanted to say. Get that out there. Disclaimer.
Too late if you heard episode. What episode number was the game part 1 and 2?
Right.
25 and 26, I believe. Anyway, that's not what I'm getting at. It's not my point. Point is,
no.
Just
my point is,
don't think of me as such an asshole. I'm like, this is half sarcastically sincere, so half of it is just trying to have fun with it. Okay, guys, I'm not trying to be a dick. I promise. Well, kind of, but just not for real. Like,
don't worry, I'm here to correct you. That's the difference here.
Thanks. Got my regulator.
The regulator. Anyway, okay, so ladies, should we? Would you like to give yourself a name before we? Because I can't keep calling you lady dudes. Like, what would your name be, Matt? What would your name be? This is tough for y'all, isn't it?
Gabriella.
Ooh, that's a fine name.
Thank you. Sounds like a hot bitch name.
Yeah, like Vivian. Sure. I like Vivian.
That sounds like my aunt or grandmother.
Nice. Fuck it, I'm Vivian. All right, so what type of girl, Ramon, what type of lady do you think you're going to be? I don't know how long term this is. I mean, is this like a permanent change? Or are we just changing genders?
No.
Or you want to say like a month?
One, my little asterisk at the bottom states that I understand that it is difficult and challenging to be a woman. Although I'm about to make light of it, I don't want anybody to think that I have forgotten that.
Okay.
That
That's
being
smart.
said, Gabriella would be tough, assertive, and probably have the #1 OnlyFans page.
Wow.
I would
Yeah.
imagine I'd be curvy, and I would use
my.
that to my advantage to fund. I would use my curves and my personality and charm to fund my endeavors, whether that be my side hustle, my business, my home, my education, would all be paid for via my face and my body.
This man is already selling his body.
Wow. That was
Gabriella is already selling her body.
Wow. All
With
right.
it takes intelligence to be able to do that well.
I mean, you got to have some kind of talent to have.
I started out saying I'd be smart and funny.
Yeah, that really reels him in, doesn't it?
Sure don't.
You know what really reels him in, don't you, Gabriella?
I mean, good for you, but I wanted to warn you when you say that you're assertive, that makes you come off as a bitch. I'm just saying. Danielle, can you agree when you're assertive, it makes you seem like a bitch?
%.
But I'm super
But
charming.
also,
I mean, I'm super
Oh,
charming
okay.
presently.
Mm.
But I just think adding a little feminine wiles into my charm would just make it even that much better.
So you'd basically be you, but with this addition
Slutty
of
as hell.
vagina.
He said slutty as hell. Shit. You could argue I was slutty as hell as a male.
I know. I get it. That's why it's so easy to make that transition into like a complete, like just, yeah. Gabrielle would be very harsh. I
Vivian, what do you
guess
want to be?
Vivian would be confident. You know,
She'd have
it wouldn't be
butterscotch
considered
candies on her table.
Shut the fuck up. Don't you have those at your place, man?
No.
So Vivian would be a confident woman. She would be very charming. But you see, like the confidence wouldn't be considered cocky because she's a woman. It's just confidence. I've never heard a woman become like or be called sincerely like cocky. So I think it would just come across as very self-confident and empowered and you go girl. And I get that. That's cool. It's not a two-way street all the time. But you know, just confident and just like I don't know, I would use I don't know, I feel like fucking powerful, you know what I mean? Like I know I got it. Yeah. Yeah. That would be it would be like pretty intoxicating to have that kind of power.
Matt probably won't come out the house for the first week he's a woman playing with his own tits.
And everything else.
Oh man.
I got him.
Well, that was my next question. What the first thing you would be would do? And I had a feeling Matt was going to say something like, "Find something to put in the hole."
Find the clitoris.
Find the clitoris. Oh, safe space.
I mean,
Sorry.
I'm pretty sure I know where it is, but just to be sure that I haven't been missing this whole time.
100% knows where it is. It's a
Now,
mystery.
see, I don't think I could jump right into inserting anything into if I wake up with my mindset and it's like a slow transformation from Ramon to Gabriella. I'm not running to insert anything inside my body. It's not
That's a
happening.
good idea because you're a virgin probably, and it's going to hurt the first time.
Gabriella's
guys.
not a virgin. Gabriella hasn't been a virgin in a long time.
Vivian's gotta knock some dust off of it.
I was gonna say, you came with a used vagina? That's weird.
That's a problem.
I can't.
It's like, okay.
I can't imagine, like, unless we were starting from birth. Like growing up a woman. That I couldn't imagine that. So if we're just doing like a month or maybe like a year to get the full year cycle kind of thing, that would be more understandable to get like the walk a mile in someone else's shoes. The first thing though would not be try to find the clitoris. It'd be learning how to cook.
Oh,
wow!
Because you can't do that as a kid.
I could probably try to learn how to cook now, but I'm saying it would be more beneficial. All right, hold on. No. My first order of business, this is for real, guys, is I would try to find a cure for the menstrual cycle. Yeah.
There's a cure for it already. It's called a hysterectomy.
Oh, shit.
No, I'm not trying to be funny.
And then you get menopause.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean,
not a great cure.
Might be close anyway.
Hmm?
Vivian might be close to menopause anyway. She's Oh man.
I've run out of paper.
I don't want to know what that period's like. Honestly, that's the one thing that I don't want.
You're gonna find out. You're gonna find out. That's part of it.
You're gonna find out how messy it is, and it doesn't matter how prepared you are. That shit's still gonna catch you off guard, especially Vivian, because not everyone has a regular cycle. So for some women, their period happens every month at the same time. Other women, it just comes when it comes. So you're just gonna start bleeding from your vagina anytime.
I was gonna say, just get used to being uncomfortable all the time, because you have to be aware of it all the time. It's not something you can forget about.
See, now, I guess I put myself in the mindset, too, that, yes, like Matthew said, it would be difficult to grow up as a woman, period. But I guess in the scenario, I've always said that women mature faster than us in adolescence, and then they fall in love, and then they go crazy, and then they stay that way until about their 40s. Because when I was growing up, every woman that seemed confident that had their shit together, like for real, was like in their 40s. So I said women get their sense back in their 40s. So in my scenario, I woke up now as a woman in my 40s. I got all my shit together. That's how I thought of it. I didn't think about all the other ins and outs. And, I've had my heart broken, and I've healed, and I've had my self-care, and I've burnt my incense, and what's that thing? The sage. I burnt my sage, and I'm good, and I'm a whole, woman. I go to yoga 3 times a week. I go to the gym. Like, that's how I perceived Gabriella at 40-something years old.
Okay. I mean, that's cool, but I don't like how you say women are crazy when before 44. I don't think that's true. I think hormones have a lot to do with it.
You'll understand in about 14 years.
Like the words.
Wow. Okay. Jeez. Anyway,
to insinuate that. I mean, but here, let's talk a little bit about Ramon, not just Gabriella.
Oh shit! Here we go.
So Gabriella has her shit together. How many times has she been remarried?
Oh,
I don't know. I don't. But why does marriage centered around marriage, decide if you have your shit together or not? And similarly, what I was gonna say, like Gabriella, Ramon, like my theory had always been about women, but I feel like I've gone through so much and developed and changed. I was writing in my journal last night, and I was like, I was upset about something, and I was like, but you know what? If that hadn't happened, maybe I wouldn't be the person I am and who I am, and I wouldn't be the person that I am, and I'm really happy with who I am. So maybe in the same scenario, after adolescence, I became crazy, and I finally got back to my senses at 40, almost 45 this year.
So then would it be fair to say, rather than women don't get their senses together until they're 40, everyone doesn't get their senses together until they're 40?
You could say that, but it wouldn't be as entertaining.
This is for the entertainment part.
And all jokes aside, though, I don't know if Gabriella had been married and divorced several times, but I don't think that's a judge of a person. I think that's mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes, and the key to it is learning from the mistakes.
See, but I don't think that they're mistakes. I think that they're stepping stones to get you to where you need to be.
Yeah, no. Mistakes are not a bad thing, as long as you learn from them.
Fair enough.
Nobody knows everything. Nobody's all knowing. So as you learn and you make a mistake, you learn and you hopefully do something differently to not continue to make that mistake. And Gabriella's done that.
I love this. She's like a whole person in my brain. It's like amazing.
Well, it's funny. I'm imaginative. So like I see her.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Would Gabriella have natural hair or weave?
Natural hair.
Okay, that's what I was figuring, but I just want to
same haircut.
I mean, that you could rock it. I mean, go for it, woman.
Why not? Sure.
Go for it, woman.
Go for it, gal. It's hard. It's hard to change my gender-specific pronouns for you, too.
I appreciate that.
Vivian and Gabriella.
I'm glad that it's not a simplistic act for you.
Right.
All right. What's the next question?
The next question, after what's the first thing you would be doing as a woman, what do you think the best thing would be about becoming a woman? What do you think the absolute favorite thing would be?
Is that really a question? I've already said this. I mean, like there's power with pussy. I mean, there's a particular amount of power you get with this, and that's something I think would be one of the greatest things that I've never experienced, is having that kind of power.
I can think of a million women who are recently in the Washington, D.C. area who might disagree with you in that level of power.
Got you on that. But I'm saying that, like, you were talking about your OnlyFans page. I mean, bro, they're not tuning in because of your charm.
Absolutely. I leave my panties on my OnlyFans page.
Oh, okay.
Classy.
Super classy.
Oh my God.
Oh, goodness gracious.
I think the best thing for Gabriella or for me as a woman, as Gabriella, would be to experience parenthood from a mother's perspective. Like, I just look at how much like women want. I'm not saying men don't want children, but it's different the way some women, not all women, want a child, and they like the bond that they have and that bond that they created. And I don't think any man can ever get that close, because there's a physiological bond because you've been linked to each other for 8 to 9 months, etc. And so I think that would be the best part, would be to experience parenthood from a mother's perspective.
It's really interesting because and not everyone wants to be a mother. Not every woman wants to be a mother. But there are some women who want to be a mother so badly, and their bodies don't work the way that they're supposed to. And they have to spend thousands and thousands of dollars to be able to, have a child, which is crazy. And, it is. The bond that you have with your kid is a whole different thing. So I like your answer a lot.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, that was a good answer, bro.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to make it all serious. Next question.
It's a solid answer. I mean, seriously, that was a good answer. I feel. It's right on top of Mother's Day. I get, talking about power and stuff. You're just talking about like, to be a mother though.
Maybe if I was a mother, my son would call me back.
Wow.
I'm potting today.
All right. So what do you think, Vivian and Gabriella, what do you think the biggest challenge would be as a woman? With the vagina?
I mean, that would be the huge, like the biggest challenge is trying to maintain such a, I don't know, messy thing, I guess. Also trying to balance the power, deciding not to use it for evil, Like, you have this power, now you don't know what to do with it because it's brand new, and you're like, should I use this new power for evil or for good and save the world? And, and care for children and things like that, or should I use it for evil and take money from unsuspecting men? Like, it's that easy. Really?
Is that easy? Wow.
Gabriella and Vivian aren't that different.
It's that easy.
Except Vivian did it on the Mayflower.
Eric, is she in a wheelchair?
Dusty vagina. Sorry.
That old bag.
She was out there trying to get Plymouth Rock.
Zing.
Wow.
What was the damn question? I think my biggest challenge would be, you know what? You know how it perfectly describe how I envision Gabriella? And if you've never seen these shows, this won't make sense. But Gabriella would be a combination of Joan from Mad Men, Christina, why can't I think of her name? Anyway, Joan from Mad Men and Gabby from Desperate Housewives.
Okay.
I'm not familiar with either show, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah, just check out their characters, and I think that's how I envision the woman version of me. But anyway, what would be the biggest challenge? Buying a button-up shirt that fit.
Wow, that's your biggest challenge?
Gabriella has big breasts, and she likes
Really?
button-up shirts,
Okay,
but they always bulge when you wear them. And no,
So hold on. You're
I'd have to get tailored shirts.
You gave us a super detailed answer on what the best part, but the biggest challenge would be a button-up shirt. Wow. Okay.
I think it's difficult to. I mean, we as men, we hear about the challenges that women go through, that you guys go through. But I think until you could live through it, it'd be difficult to really describe what I mean, I'm making it light because also to not be offensive, because I don't really understand what your biggest challenge would be. I mean, I guess it'd be difficult to plan when you were going to wear white pants, like the no, wait, hear me out, Danielle, before you start growling.
No, I wasn't going to.
But I could see the outward obvious things that are challenges to you guys, and you could hear it, but to truly know what you would go through, it would be difficult for me to verbalize that, I think. I'm
sitting here thinking, obviously I can't answer, what type of woman would I be because I am a woman, and what would I do first as a woman because I am a woman. But I'm sitting here thinking, what do I think the best thing about becoming a woman is? And then what do I think the biggest challenge is? How I answer that as an actual female. And it's interesting to hear your guys' perspectives that focus mainly on vaginas and boobs, for the most part.
I mean,
because we're men still at the end of the day.
Right, because you're men.
I guess they put it ahead in the corporate ladder, but I mean, really, if I got a vagina, fuck the corporate ladder.
Wow, okay.
But really, I think probably for me, I'm thinking what the biggest challenge for women are. Women are, and I can say because I'm a woman, women are very emotional. We're very hormonal, and that's a body chemistry thing. That's physically how we are.
Belle doesn't believe me.
I think probably the biggest challenge is handling your emotions and your hormones and stuff when that kind of shit is kind of out of your control at some points. Especially for me, when you're pregnant and after you've just delivered a baby, your body chemistry is so fucked up that your hormones and your emotions are literally all over the place, and you cannot control them. So I think that that's probably the biggest challenge that I would say that women have, is being able to control that kind of stuff.
I just remembered that I don't have a very good sense of fashion as a man. I think that may actually be one of my biggest challenges is learning how to dress properly as a woman. When it comes to outfits that fit you well, show off features. Cause I would like to dress up and look nice, learn how to do makeup and stuff like that. And my hair, to dress up as a beautiful woman. I like seeing beautiful women now. There's no reason that if I grew a vagina and a pair of titties, that I'm not going to try to look as good in a dress, just like a lot of women do. So, and that would be one thing. Also, is it really, like, for some women, those really tight jeans, is it really that hard to get on? I gotta know, laying on the bed, pulling them up off, like you're just like you feel like you're about to rip your fingernails into the jeans.
Well, what's convenient, Matt, is that you could now wear your mom jeans and they would be appropriate.
That's funny.
I was gonna say, yes, it's difficult because not like men are like straight up and down. Women have an ass that you got to get the material around. I'm just saying. Right.
Another thing is that, like, in public, obviously, I'm gonna have to learn to close my fucking legs. I'm gonna have to sit like with knee over knee type, like sitting. I'm not gonna be doing the whole figure four that I can normally do. And the reason I wear mom jeans because it's got ballroom, man. All right. So yeah, I like the baggy jeans for very good reason. There's a reason I don't sit with my legs closed because I gotta breathe. All right. But I'd have to learn how to cross my legs as a woman. So I think that'd be a big challenge too. I don't know which one the biggest one is. I recognize these challenges, man.
Wow.
Okay. Deep.
I mean, I think for to be a woman, I like taking from Danielle and kind of like relating. I think being a major contradiction is the hardest part because, like, I have to be both like tough but delicate, and I have to be emotional, but I have to not show it, and I have to be like funny but not too funny. Don't be intimidating, okay? Don't be too intimidating to the men. I'm not talking about you guys, but in general. It's just like, and then you have to always be conscious of what your body is doing so that nobody thinks anything. You have to make sure your tits aren't out all the time. You have to make sure, your legs are crossed, like Matt said. But I'm saying, like, it's not, it's only in public. I'm saying it's contradiction. Like, you just have to be consciously aware of everything that's going on and everything you're doing, how every hair lays down on your head and all of that.
Oh my God! How did I totally forget women and like creeps? I think that would probably be biggest challenge. Like, is dealing with creeps because I don't think I would like handle that very well.
When I worked with you, you saw it. I'm a tomboy and I don't give off signals. I'm saying I don't give off signals.
Guys are fucking creeps. Creep me out, and I'm a guy. Like.
What did that one guy say to me that one time? I said, "Is there anything else for you?" And he said, "I want your body, but you can't give me that because you're married." Really?
I mean, you could, but you won't.
Really? Like,
he's at work.
Why do people say shit like that? Anyway, I digress.
Yeah, I gotta imagine unsolicited dick pics would be a challenge as well.
Exactly. Right. Like, you got to change your phone number constantly.
Wow. See, and again, those are the things that don't come forefront to mind because I'm a woman. All right, what's next?
I mean, I was going to warn you guys about being women, but I think I don't know if we covered it or not. Like, be careful about your vagina. It's a high maintenance organ, okay? That's what I got. Warnings. That's all I got left for you guys. Mm-hmm. You guys have anything to impart on us as new women?
I was just going to say, like, I was thinking about when you talked about the challenge of, the right mix of who you are. So are you guys saying, and I'm asking both of you, that as a woman you feel like you have to adapt to your situation more so than, and I believe you're saying that men, we could just be who the fuck we are all the time?
I think it's more socially acceptable for you to be who you are all the time than it is for a woman.
Has anybody heard my podcast? It is not socially acceptable for me to be who I really am all the fucking time. It is not acceptable. All right, you should not do that. People won't like you.
I like how you say my podcast, like two people who are on the podcast are here. It's our podcast, man, woman.
Has anybody heard me on our podcast? I'm sorry. I apologize. I recant my last statement. I want to correct it on our podcast. It is not acceptable is my point. It's just totally not appropriate.
I think like I was listening to you saying like I think you have an attractive personality, but then again that's me. You know what I mean? Like, you're funny, you're confident, you're smart. But I could see how if there was a guy you were attracted to who was intimidated by that. But then why the fuck should you even be into that guy if he's intimidated by who you are? Like, I have a huge problem with people having to bottle up who they are. Yeah, I've been in situations where I feel like I had to be different to kind of fit in, to make somebody else happy. This is part of what I wrote about last night too. And so, like, I love being who the fuck I am, and I'm learning to not care, because to sit here and say I don't care what people think all the time, would be a lie, because I sometimes do. But I'm learning to not care about opinions that don't matter, I guess, is what happens. But you're saying that that's more of a challenge as a woman.
I mean, it's a process. It's not like you wake up every single day and you're like, yeah, I'm cool with who I am. It's a process. It's like, because the awkward teen years are a real thing, and you're like, well, what do I have to do to be accepted here? I mean, I feel like I've come to a good part of my life where I'm like, fuck it, I am who I am, and that's just who I am. But it wasn't always like that. So,
right.
And certainly not like that every single day, because I can't be like this 100% of the time. I work in customer service. It's just not possible.
And see, to your point earlier, I would be devastated if I woke up like a 15 to 24-year-old woman.
Yeah, that's fucking rough, man.
Because there's a lot of shit to figure out.
I would never, ever want to go back to that time period in my life. Literally.
Well, also one thing I think to mention about females is their safety. Women are considered to be more vulnerable than men. Generally we're, smaller in build. We're not as strong, physically as men are, and women, not to say men aren't and can't be, but women tend to be the targets, for, rapes and kidnaps in parking lots. So, as a woman, you have to think when you're going to the grocery store at night, park underneath a light, or, carry my keys a certain way, because you're by yourself and you're an easier target than if a man were to walk out of the grocery store in the middle of the night. You know what I mean?
No, that's actually a very good point. And I think that's something that as men, we kind of take that for granted, kind of walking with our chest out and our chin high and through a dark fucking parking lot. We go through a fucking dark alley like nobody gives a shit. I mean, unless you're obviously looking to get robbed, but like just any other normal fucking place, I guess that situational awareness is more paramount as a woman, because you got to keep your head on a swivel and watch out for those fucking creeps,
right?
Because they're all around. Apparently,
they're everywhere,
even in Wyoming, Delaware.
Especially, I felt more creeps out there, man.
There's some listener out there who has no familiarity with the area, and they're like, Wyoming, Delaware.
Google it. You're gonna only see it once. You'd be like, yeah, I don't know why I wasted my time
One
with that.
Small state, one large state, but neither have a lot of people in them.